put the mic on, shall we? As opposed to off. So, welcome to another video. The One Good Road here, or Joseph is actually my name. People sometimes write The One Good Road, hi, but actually my name is Joseph. So, I haven't done a podcast in a while, and I'm wanting to give an update for people who follow The One Good Road. If you still do, that's great. As you can probably notice, I haven't posted anything in quite a while. There are some reasons to that, which I want to get into. And keep in mind, this is a podcast, so everything will be fairly raw, fairly unedited. And it's going to be me just speaking my mind to the camera a lot of the time. So yeah. I haven't made a video in a while, and maybe I should address that. So for me, I've been kind of a bit perfectionist when it comes to the content that I make on YouTube, and I'm comparing myself a lot to other people. And I'm also going through this process of what is valuable to me at the moment. And a lot of my previous content has been about biking, right? So you can see that quite clearly, that I've done a lot of bicycle touring, a lot of traveling. And then we had this whole lockdown COVID thing, which is interesting. And I probably shouldn't mention that word too many times, otherwise I will probably lose a bit of AdSense. But that hasn't been a massive factor for me, because I already had something prior which really shaped my life and changed my outlook. So I warn you, I'm a bit rambly when I'm trying to explain something, so I hope I'm not too off topic, but I will try my best. So with the biking, I did that a lot, and I recently just got into hiking. And I find that there's many reasons why I like it. I actually started off hiking in the beginning, but that was about 5 years ago. And then I got into the biking, which allowed me to see the world, allowed me to explore my surroundings, allowed me to visit new countries, new landscapes, and then I documented that for the last 5 years and made documentaries about that, and you can see that on the One Good Road. And I guess lately I've been thinking about, what is the One Good Road? What is it? I mean, the channel's not really, it's mostly about me and where I've been, what I think. Most people rename their channels to a person, like a personality and an identity. But the One Good Road, to me, is more like it's its own thing, kind of, at the moment. And there are some other channels and video games, actually, and movies that are titled. They have a title to describe what they are. So if I was to give a title to my life, it would probably be close to the One Good Road. And that's what it is to me, is it's a title to describe what my identity online is. I like the anonymity of it as well. I don't want to have my name blasted on the internet everywhere at the moment. I don't think I need that. And so that's been a process right now, is thinking about, what is it about? The One Good Road, what is it? And that's why I haven't been posting that many videos, because I'm sort of defining, what is it, you know? And I've recently been getting into this kind of culture, which is around kind of like either outdoor stuff, camping. I'm holding my hand up, I'm counting. Camping, traveling, nomadic. Those are the words that come to mind right now. And I recently picked up the guitar and I started studying that, which is nice. And I guess I got inspired. I've been watching this game, a playthrough of this game called The Last of Us, and I used to follow it. About 2013, there was a playthrough that I watched on YouTube, and something stuck out to me, is this idea of the nomadic part of the game. And there's a main character, she's a traveler, and she's going through, actually these two people are going through a post-apocalyptic world. discovering, and the game's gorgeous, really beautiful. It's almost not a game, it's actually kind of a movie when you're watching it. And I love the whole style around it. And then to me, I'm thinking, okay, the style I like is something kind of Western, nomadic, nature, minimalistic. So that's kind of what the One Good Road is kind of fitting into right now. It's not just biking, as I once thought it was. It's actually growing. It's a bit bigger than that. And for example, when I used to do a lot of bike touring, I would camp a lot. Actually, in the beginning, I didn't camp that often. I didn't like camping at all. And what happened was I got into camping slowly. And so camping to me is beautiful, and you actually really feel this presence of where you are. And I love that, and its simplicity is beautiful. I even translate that into my daily life. So I wear sports clothes like what I'm wearing right now. This is a Patagonia down jacket. It's kind of stylish, but it's mainly for that. And then underneath I have this red fleece. That's Decathlon. So it's all sportswear. And it's functional. In front of me I have it's kind of a mess right now. That's why I'm not going to show the whole room. I've got my map behind me. This map is of the routes that I've done by bike. And I also did, I don't know if you can see that on the screen, but this one, the green one, hard to see, but that one is the route that I recently hiked. And then I have other maps in my cabin where I'm currently living at the moment, which is very simple living. I live in a cabin right now in the woods. It's kind of fairly in the countryside in the middle of nowhere, not far from the Pyrenees, and it suits me right now. I do miss having, in a city, you're around loads of different people, and I do miss that. And obviously this whole lockdown that we had a few months ago, and then the restrictions on travel right now, I'm feeling that. That's kind of a bummer. Right now I felt a passion to go traveling again, and I want to have it an adventure. That's why I went recently hiking. And I want to go to Scotland. I felt a calling to go back to the UK for a bit, because I've been living in France for a while now. I've been living in France for now 9 months, since January at least. And I had my birthday recently, so that's an update. I know I'm throwing loads of information at you, and you're like, who the heck is this guy if you've never seen any of this? But if you follow this channel, this is a massive update in some ways. I want to post more content. This is a general thing. I want to make more videos, but I get really put off by what it should be about. And that's what's conflicting me at the moment. I want to make stuff that's true to myself and to my heart and what I'm passionate about. This is me speaking my mind and documenting it. And I love listening to podcasts recently. I've been getting into it. I've been finding my area that I like in podcasting. And that is something that is a big importance for me, is speaking the mind. It's listening. It's not taking in every little detail. It's just observing, picking up what you like, what you don't like. You're just filtering through. You find what you like in it. You can play this in the background. I'm recording it with video because I will put it on YouTube, but I will actually go a step further and actually put it as a full just audio track. And I think that would be nice to have that. And I'm trying to record it in the best audio I can. This is a very basic setup. I'm recording on my smartphone. It can't get more minimal than that. The lighting in today is rubbish. It's been so stormy lately. We've had heavy rain. We haven't been able to do much outdoor stuff. But it's been beautiful, actually. I like the change of weather. We've had too much sun. It's been so hot. So it's really nice to have a change of weather. But the lighting in here is rough. I'm trying my best. We bought some new bright lights because the lighting in my cabin is pretty bad. So hopefully that's managing. It's working, hopefully. I've recorded podcasts in the past recently, but they're mainly for myself. And I've been thinking about, why do I even record anything? Why do I document stuff? Why do we do that? To record for me is archiving. So I love to look back on something and to reflect on a memory and to really be present and feel into why, when, how, what, all these feelings that bubble to the surface when you're looking back on a memory. And I think that's the main thing. So recently, Google Photos, okay, which used to be with Google Drive, you could now upload. Essentially, there are services now where you can upload a massive amount of photos to a server for free, with some slight limitations on the quality of your photos and videos. But other than that, you can upload massive amounts of data. You are subscribing to the restrictions which Google have, and they're probably reading all of your data. I get it. Believe me, I get it. But I'm okay with that. It's not a big deal for me. And I already post everything. Not everything, but I post quite a bit online anyway. Not as much as most, but I do post quite a bit. Or I share, post, publish, whatever the word is. And I share that. And the other stuff for Google Photos is all personal. Or whether it's Apple iPhotos or something like that. And I like having this massive archive and looking back at your memories in this way. And I suppose I've been doing a lot of reflecting on that. Reflecting on what I've done, like in the past. I know I don't want my ego to be massive, but I have done some stuff in the past, like these tours. And then I think to myself, okay, what's next? Because you do something so big like that, and then the big question is, what's next? Because I get all of this same drive. I want to have adventures still in my life. But as I get older, I get more responsibilities. So I'm now 22, and the pressure of being able to financially cover yourself as an individual, rent, food, having shelter, travel, equipment, whatever, is starting to become more of a reality. I took the route that I didn't want to go for school, and I got homeschooled, and then I traveled a lot, and that's what the last 5 years has been, just been mostly travel. And then recently, I've just been working on many little different projects, working here and there, like studying guitar and little things like that. But I'm still asking myself today the big question: what am I doing with my life? Where is it all going? What's the direction that it's going in? I suppose I don't know. And every day is just so spontaneous. I just wake up and then my friends say, we're going to go here. I'm like, okay. Or I might have a different set of feelings and I say, I don't want to do that today. I'm going to do something else. So I then do something else. What's today's date? I've just thought of that. It is September the 26th or 27th. It's pretty close to the end of September anyway. 2020. And that's a weird number. Because 2020 is now we're entering into another decade. It's going to be 2030 and then 2040. And I'm like, whoa, I'm getting older. It's really weird. Because I remember when I was 15, I didn't really think about those things very much. And now it's catching up to me. So yeah, at the moment it's been about minimalism. Just to summarize, it's been about working on inward projects and inward self-development. But still, I'm trying to find that balance when I'm posting to the One Good Road on YouTube and developing that as a business and developing that as a presence online, I guess. Yeah, knowing what the message is behind everything. And I think it is about as I'm talking about, I've already said it multiple times in this podcast, in this video recording. Trying to define it is also hard. We always want to define something as something concrete, you know? And there isn't anything concrete. There's nothing is. Not even concrete, you know? Like everything is actually quite interwoven and mixed between everything. There's never anything that is quite definite that we know for sure. It's like the changing of the weather. It's always changing, always moving around. That's what life is, really. I also have been doing a lot of studying of philosophies and different ideas of thinking, and that you can probably tell I've been probably overthinking things a lot recently. That is true. I spend probably way too much time with myself, more than most, I think, because I have a lot of free time. I spend a lot of time with myself, and it has its pros, has its cons, has its flaws, has its upsides. On the plus side, I'm always free. I can do whatever I want to do. There's so much I can do in life, and I have so much flexibility and freedom than I think most, actually. And I like that. Freedom for me is important. I think it started when I was 16, and I picked up a backpack, and I was inspired by another family that we were living with, and they toured and traveled around the world, India and the United States, and they did bicycle touring. They were cool. And I thought, oh man, I want to do that. I seem so crappy and mundane and boring in comparison. And that's what got me into it. And then I had the flexibility and the freedom to travel. I traveled and traveled and traveled so far. I even went all the way, you know, can't get further than New Zealand, really. And then, yeah, like I said, the responsibilities start to kick in. Okay, where's the money coming from? Where are you going to get settled in life? Do you want a family? You know, these bigger questions. They're starting to become more upfront, more to the surface. I still thought about them when I was younger, but not as much now. But who knows? Right now, I'm probably overthinking everything. It's probably all fine, and I just take it day by day, every day. But I do think about these things a lot, hence why I'm going into a kind of repetition spiral about it. But if you listen to this in the background, again, you don't have to listen to every single thing I'm saying. That's obviously not needed. So what else has been on my mind that I want to share and talk about? I have, like I said, got recently into the hiking, and I've been doing actually like sections of the Pyrenees walking trail, which is the GR10. I've been doing it section by section recently, and that's nice. I don't feel any pressure when I'm doing it, which is really nice. And being in nature, being in the real depths of the mountain, or the heights of the mountain, or in the valleys, is stunning. I love being in this pure, wild nature and conquering my fears with it. Recently, I did a hike where I was really fearful of what strangers I'm going to be talking to, and being alone again, and being even without a bike, because it's a bit scary. Like, it's just your own 2 feet. If you get caught in a storm in the mountains, you're on your own. But if you get well prepared and you meet other people along the way, and the roads aren't that far away, and you're in nature, you start to realize that that's such a myth. And it's not completely wild up there. It's actually fairly managed, and I love it up there. It's I'm looking out my window right now, not looking at the lens, because we have, through the forest, I can see the mountains in the distance. And I always reminisce about going up there, because I always get away from society and all the pressures that come with it. This whole pandemic thing is so overdone to me. It's so overhyped. Everyone's in fear about it, and I live in nature where or I live far from civilization in some ways because you just don't really see it on a regular basis. And as soon as we go shopping, that's when you have to wear your mask, you have to clean your hands, you have to keep social distancing. How long is that going to go on for, realistically? You know, countries are not going to be able to afford to keep doing this. You know, they can't close off everything. Eventually, it's going to have to change. And I think a lot of this is just control, really, and fear. But that's just where I'm placed. I'm sure people who have friends who might have the whole virus thing might be more serious about it. But I remember when I first started, when I'm backtracking a bit. I was hiking with a friend of mine, and that right when we finished our hiking trip, which was about 2 weeks of hiking, that's when the lockdown happened, and we were like all stuck, couldn't leave the house, you know, the whole shebang. And we had to write pieces of paper when we went out. It's ridiculous, a declaration. And I was so lucky, I think, and blessed that we live in nature and it's not far to get away from it all. Yeah, I was really grateful for that time period, and I work on a lot of different things when it comes to it. Anyway, I am sort of wondering if this is boring for people, because it's not to me. There's so much I can talk about. I can just talk and talk and talk. I even thought about starting my own other podcast, which would be called like Joseph's Talk. Because that's what it's really about. It's just talking, just sharing, just like imagine if we're in a circle, or if we're on a video chat right now on a call. This is what it would look like. This is what it would sound like, you know. It's not super high production. It's not high editing. It's not massive budgets. It's just, you know, I hope it's relatable. I want to make my content more relatable. And yeah, that's what I've been thinking about lately. So I think that's what I've been trying to aim at with the One Good Road, is making content that's relatable. And I've been listening to other podcasts which are in this same style, and it's simple, easy to listen to, and I've actually enjoyed really listening to it. It's been very motivational. I did some other podcasts where I was talking about the 50K marathon run, and I talked about that and overcoming some anxieties with that. You might want to have a listen to that one. That was with a friend of mine. And I want to do more stuff like this. I want to record, document what I'm thinking and translate that into an audio file or video. The video is not really necessary for me, because even just listening to it, I can pick up what I'm talking about and relate to it, pick up the memory of being there. But you can see my face, right? So you can connect with it a bit more. I think that's also important, actually, as well. So I'm not sure what else to share. I'm working on some other backpacking videos. I do want to work on that, and I might share them on YouTube, but I'm not sure, because there's other people who've done videos before about it. You know, I want to be a bit original. I don't want to always post the same exact thing that everyone else has done. I want it to be a bit different. And there's so much I want to share. Sometimes I lose I don't know how to put it into words. There's so much I could talk about. There's so much to share, really. But I guess many people don't have the time for that, and why would people be interested in this is a big question. I want to talk about the hernia thing. I haven't talked about that in a while. So a while back, now it's getting to 2 years ago now. So 2 years ago, I was in Australia, and I was living there for 6 months. And I had a hernia. If you don't know what a hernia is, essentially it's where your intestines pop through your abdomen via a small tear in the muscle. And sometimes it can be a real like catastrophe if something bad really happens with it. Like if your intestines get strangled and then you can't process food and then you can't go to the bathroom basically, and it's painful, blood stops flowing, blah blah blah. It's not very nice. And I've been going through a whole weird process of that. I had one when I was younger. I had one when I was maybe a year old, and they sewed it up and fixed it up again. And then, like I said, I think I was probably around 20 years old, so 2 years ago now. I had another one, very small one. They repaired it. They put a piece of mesh in under my skin, basically, or behind the abdomen wall, and it's designed to irritate the skin and strengthen the tissue. And there's been a whole process of trying to get over that fear, and that's what shaped my entire channel. Like, this whole One Good Road was on a course. I was destined to like do a lot more bicycle touring, to do a lot more traveling, a lot more adventuring. And then I had the hernia, and then my whole identity really started to fall apart with that. I thought I was sort of immortal in a way. I thought that I could just get through anything. And in a way you can. I'm not trying to knock that, but I really did feel like I was sort of young and careless in some ways. And I went through that process. And I had the surgery done. I'm not sure if it was 100% the best thing to do. There might have been other routes to talk about or to choose. And actually, I've been wanting to talk about it for a while, talking about that, because for me, the whole mental thing with like, there's something wrong with your body and you're not quite right, that is more damaging to me than the actual damage of physically of what it might be. Like if someone says to you, you have a broken leg, just hearing those words and processing that into your mind, I think it's so damaging than actually saying something positive instead and giving them some hope and inspiration and ideas and not focusing on that negative thing. It's so unhealthy to do that, I think. We do that as a society. We're always pointing out our flaws. You're not quite right. You haven't figured this out yet, you know? But nothing ever is perfect. It's a complete illusion that we're all chasing, this dream of like having everything perfect. My body will not be perfect. In fact, I'm pretty sure I might even have some small hernias popping up again. I don't know. But you have to learn to manage it, I think, and learning that the body's not perfect. You have to be very kind of kind and understanding with your physical form, and you know your limit. You know what you're capable of. We watched a really strange film recently, which was about like a society where everybody knows all of your flaws down to the genetic code, down to your DNA, what's wrong with you. And I think that was so interesting to listen and watch that as a concept. The film was very dated. It's 1997, just before I was born. And I think the concept of the film was fantastic. About the message behind it was that you're not perfect. Nobody is perfect. Even if you had every possible human trait, it wouldn't be perfect. We talk about engineering the body to be perfect, to have like 20/20 vision, to be really fit and buff and have the right color. But that's just what society's dictating, that what the social average is above the average, right? What's the best of the best, like in athletes, for example. But we're programming that into them from a biased opinion. It's not perfect, the average. and neither is the above that, and neither is below that. I guess we're all human, and I think that's the beauty of it. And with these genetic mutations, that's what the film talked about, with all of these different variations of people, of ideas, you get many different successes from that. There are failures, there are successes, and that is something important to be aware of, is when something is a failure, you learn from it, you make that mistake, you then can become a better version of yourself. You can always be chasing that, making yourself into that better version. I've also been listening to a lot of self-improvement videos. I've been doing a lot of journaling. I've been doing that for the last 2 years. Audio journaling as well. So I just record like I'm doing right now. This is literally audio journaling right now, or video journaling. I think that's what I care about, is documenting my life and who I am. And maybe in the future somebody might listen to it and find it inspiring or helpful or just relatable, that someone else is out there with similar thoughts about where are we all going in life and what am I doing with my life, and that sort of thing. So yeah, let's backtrack again so I don't ramble. I probably rambled so much anyway. Doesn't matter. I'm just gonna be myself. So I had this whole core about me not being perfect was about the hernia and having that as an issue. But you learn clever ways to get around it. I mean, when I even had it, I really thought to myself, I'm going to push the limit. And I rode 200k on my bike in one day. I've done actually even more than that. I don't need to brag, but I pushed my body to the limit on that day. And I even had a hernia, so is that a smart thing to do? I don't know. But I showed to myself that I can even conquer that and do more. I did the ultramarathon to tell myself that I can do these things physically. I don't know why. I'm always proving to myself for some reason that I can do these things. I don't know why. It's always a upcoming thing. But I never feel the passion to work on it like on skills, which is something I probably should work on. Like skills in our society, basically, that can lead to a job, basically. I haven't felt a lot of passion for that. Like, I'm good at video editing, I'm good at filming, etc., etc. You can see it on my videos, and it's something I like to do, and I have done it for other people. That's why I created this whole channel called One Good Production. One Good Production is basically like the One Good Road. It's kind of a sibling of it, and it's about films instead, and making videos and sharing that. So it's about that. And the One Good Road is more about the adventures and outdoor stuff, and I'm starting to get, and it's like in life you have this, the way I view it is, as you're discovering yourself in life, you have a stone or a piece of clay that you're carving out every day, or a piece of wood that you're sculpting or carving every day, and you're slowly defining and building on a structure of what you are. Ground up, you're a baby, you have a childhood, and you have some core foundations of what brings you joy. And you have these nostalgic memories that link back to them, and then they relate to who you are right now. So there's so much that I relate to. Like, we used to travel with my parents to the Mediterranean for holiday whenever my parents got off and I got off at school. And then we would travel for maybe a couple weeks to Minorca or some Spanish island in the Mediterranean Sea. And I have all these memories of being so happy there. And when I go still today to the Mediterranean coast, pretty much anywhere in that environment where everything's very laid back, there's this beautiful sunshine and the white houses with the orange tiled roofs. You have a coffee or you just sit down and you admire the view, and you're just admiring being present in a moment and enjoying that. And I love that, being present in a moment, being aware of it. And there isn't anything more that you should be doing in some ways, other than just existing. That's already a miracle in itself, that you are alive right now listening to this. And there's zero appreciation for that. It's always production. Are you being productive? Are you working? Are you building? Are you doing this? Where is the moment to just be, to exist? Where is that? I think it's sometimes lost and forgotten about. I gotta check if this is recording. I bet you it's not. Oh, we're still recording. That's nice. Sometimes it doesn't capture what I'm saying. I've recorded podcasts in the past and it hasn't been recorded. And that's sometimes very frustrating. Because you're like, oh wait, nobody cares about this, but why do I care about this so much that I've recorded this, Anyway. What else is new? I got a new phone. You might notice maybe there's a slight quality difference. Or maybe you notice there's a downgrade because I have filmed on big cameras in the past and I don't want to do that right now. I don't think it's necessary. I can record on my phone, and if you compare it to what I've used in the past for making films, this is fantastic. I have 3 camera lenses on this one phone. I can even edit on my phone. I can upload everything on my phone. It's like, why do I have a computer? It's almost that level. It's getting there. It's not quite, but it's amazing. Technology is insane. It's just mind-blowing what we have in the future and what we have now, today. You compare it to what my parents had in the past, when it was a brick phone, or not even having a phone. And that makes me think about how I'm grateful that my parents have given me these opportunities in life. If it weren't for your parents, you wouldn't even be here, basically. We all need to think about that sometimes. Appreciate our parents and our roots. Because, we wouldn't be here without any of that. I'm grateful for that. Because I wouldn't have these things around me at all. But also, on the flip side, you don't need to give them praise. You need to appreciate yourself and what you can give and provide for your family, for the greater good, I guess you could say, of mankind. I do want to leave something valuable behind, but sometimes I wonder what that is. Is it just being there for someone? Is it being as human as you can be? Is it sharing this stuff on the internet? Which I also wonder whether that's, I don't know. A part of me wants to create content, and if I can sustain my living costs with it, that's amazing. If I can also share and inspire people, that's also amazing. I want to be honest and real and genuine as possible, because I don't like it when people are lying and trying to sell me something that they don't really truly believe in and is just something that they can be selling. I don't want that. I want to be as honest as I want to say, like, I've found channels and personalities and people online which have been honest. And they're like, this is the good, this is the bad, you make up your own opinion about it. I think that's awesome. We need more like that. We need more content like that. Because there's so much lying and fake stuff online. You have no idea where something comes from anymore. Like when you order something online, who knows where it comes from? It's from China somewhere. Maybe mostly from like the Shenzhen area if you're buying a piece of technology, and then I don't know. We don't really know where stuff comes from anymore. Where did I buy these lights? Where was this map printed? That's probably me overthinking things. You let me know if you like this babble. I really like to just talk and share. And I hope that someday I can formulate some kind of... I've tried to work on books in the past. I made a book called Cycling Across, or Across Australia. That was the name of it. And it's all about poetry and telling my story in a very poetic sense with pictures. It's actually also a photo book. It's a PDF. I wanted to print it, make printable copies, but nobody bought it, or at least only 5 people did. So I know that online, when I post something, there is content that is successful. So I know that there is a formula to making successful stuff. And then there's also this kind of content, which I don't know what to do with. I have so much footage of this. This is like, it's just raw, unedited stuff that I want to make something with. And it's super easy and beautiful to make. But I don't know how to market it. If you don't get the marketing right on the internet, it's not going anywhere. Nobody's going to find it. You know, marketing is pretty important. Visuals is very important. Like your thumbnail, your cover. If you don't get that right, if the title's not right, not descriptive enough, nobody finds it. So I hope that, like, I'm going to use the name, The One Good Road. This is a name that I think people are looking for. And I'm just going to clump it together with my podcasts that I've done in the past. You might notice on my channel, everything's not quite together yet. So, all right. So there is a local meditation with the neighbors. Sorry if I was shouting. And I think I'm going to go and do that. I've been doing meditation and yoga a little bit actually, which has been really nice, working on that. And I'm gonna stop talking because I'm probably filling your brain with so much information. It's just ridiculous. Subscribe, I would appreciate it. And I really hope that I get to... I want to make this kind of stuff, like just talking. I love it, you know. It's just saying what it just rolls off the tongue, you know. I want to share that. Anyway, that's it for now. I will hopefully have some other stuff to talk about in the future. If you're interested, like I said, subscribe. Sorry for the weird interruptions and whatnot. This is a podcast. This is raw. This is real. Keeping it real. That's it for now. So hopefully see you in another podcast or video.